You're listening to Hump Day Radio.
Armed man killed by off-duty cop during Christmas Eve mall shooting. Holiday shoppers were sent fleeing when a disagreement between two groups turned violent on Christmas Eve. An armed man was killed by an off-duty police officer during a shooting at the North Lake Mall in Charlotte, North Carolina. Two groups were seen fighting in the mall when 18-year-old Daquan Westbrook brandished a gun. Off-duty police officer Thomas Ferguson arrived at the scene with a colleague. Westbrook pointed his gun at him, after which Ferguson fatally shot Westbrook. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Two people were also reportedly injured during the rush by shoppers to escape the mall. Authorities say the incident was not an active shooter situation and that the groups had a history of feuding. Westbrook was reportedly a rapper by the name of Donkey Cartel and had previous run-ins with police. Witnesses told WBTV that the incident was committed in retaliation against a shooting from last week that involved Westbrook's brother.
Yeah, don't go to jail, brother.
Hey. RP Lil Dumb. Now my brother's loud. I can't help but feel him. I can't help. I can't help but feel him. I can't help but feel him. I can't help but feel him. Show me I can't help but feel him. I count my first charge, I was 16. Yeah, young Moonie, he done been through some things. Caught my first robbery at 18. Said I made mistakes, next thing I know on a high-speed chase. For those things, now they blow you away. Thank God I'm here and made a way. It's an agenda to exterminate, and ain't no hands up, put the gun away. Unless you from the other race, it ain't no talking or no reasoning. My people don't walk away, even when the weapon's present. They end up like Freddie Gray when that boy who shot up the church and he was happily drove away. Bought him a number 4, jumped on a plane, extra guards and all that was to keep him safe. The movie theater was shot up, his crazy ass they rode away. Little dog get armed himself for protection, but yeah, he the one to blow away. In 09 I was arrested 9 different times, some of which falsely accused and targeted because of pride. When I was praying, asking God, looking high, so I can't help but feel him. I can't help but feel him. He had to kill him. I can't help but feel him. So me had to kill him. I can't help but feel him. I done been there too.
Oh, you know what it is. Johnny D, back at you again, Hump Day Radio.
Sam Fortune, I am here.
And the one and only Bobo. What is good?
Yeah, a whole lot. We got my man Moonie Music sitting in with us today.
Moonie Music, man. Glad to be here, fellas.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so off air, because Moonie has this track that he did about Donkey Cartel, we wanted to do a segment about multiple perspectives. We did do a show here at Hump Day Radio. I think it was called Life Imitates Art, The Tragedy of Donkey Cartel.
Yes.
This was a segment about the shooting that occurred in North Lake Mall on Christmas Eve, in which this guy, Lil Donkey, lost his life.
Yeah.
The segment that we did got a whole lot of feedback.
Whole lot.
Got some death threats in the inbox.
Yes.
On the emails. So it was crazy. And those threats came because basically our view at Hump Day, Bobo, Johnny, myself, was that we had to side with him being, I guess it sounds terrible to say it, but if you're at the mall on Christmas Eve, you pull out a gun, you're getting shot and killed. In the state of the world that we live in with mass shootings and blah, 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 just the way things go, when you wake up and you see a headline, 12 people shot and killed, 20 people shot and killed, 32 people shot and killed. And because we're older and we have kids, well, I have a kid, we just felt like, yo, you pull out a gun at the mall, you're getting shot and killed. But Moonie was offering a different perspective. And that is that when you saw it, you didn't buy it. You didn't buy the story that was being sold to you by the news.
Nah, first of all, they were saying, that the officer gave him a warning. And when I watched that video, I don't see no warning. I just see the shot. I just hear the shot. I see him come out, and then I hear the shots, And it wasn't him shooting. That was him being shot. A lot of people get that mixed up. They think that when he's coming out of the mall on that little, 10-second video or 5-second video, however long it is, that the shots that they hear ring out when the camera drops is him. Nah, that's him being shot. Because if you look at how his body is laying and in the pictures, it was right there. Right. And just from my perspective, it looks like he was trying to go back into the store and to get away from the shots. So I didn't see a gun. When I looked at that video, I did see him fiddling in his pants, but I didn't see no gun. So I can't just jump with what's being said. I gotta give him the benefit of the doubt to the point to where I'm like, I want to know everything. I'm not giving him a pass. I'm not saying he was right. I'm just saying, just show us the cameras, because it's a camera in the Journeys, it's a camera in the mall. You know what I'm saying? That got all of this. So just show us.
Right. So this is basically a call to action to CMPD. Of course, their leader, Kerr Putney.
Yes.
We have a lot more questions right now than answers, but I do want to give you the update on the information that we have so far. Earlier today, around 2 o'clock, a group of subjects who have a history of feuding back and forth showed up at North Lake Mall. I want to tell the public emphatically, this is not a random act of violence. This is something that happened between two parties who were beefing back and forth, and it happened at North Lake Mall. This was absolutely not an active shooter situation. Again, a couple of people who had weapons, and after the altercation, they used weapons as a means of settling the dispute. We did have an officer who was working off duty, and you'll get all the details in our release, who heard gunshots while working off duty inside the mall. He responded to the location of the shots. When he got to that location, he encountered an armed subject. He confronted the armed subject, who, according to witnesses and information we're getting, pointed a gun in the direction of the officer. Our officer fired his service weapon. Aid was immediately rendered to the downed subject, although medic did pronounce him deceased shortly thereafter. We did find evidence of multiple weapons there at the scene. There are many witnesses that we're currently interviewing, and we really tell people and tell the public, we want to deal in facts. So there's a lot of information out there, pictures and misinformation about what might have happened there. We want to know what the facts are. If somebody saw something, we're asking you to call us and report what you saw.
Because I have the feeling that inside this little room is not the only place that this is being discussed. You have two generations of people who are arguing about this. The older crowd is saying, why you at the mall with a gun? The younger crowd is saying, y'all got to understand where he coming from and the life he living. And, so there's a great divide. But in this particular case, you could release tapes. Because that mall is covered.
Yeah.
That mall is covered.
Yeah.
I have to retract and say, upon closer inspection, it is quite possible that the event played out differently than what is being said. That's possible. You know what? In this world we live in, it's quite possible that he never even had a gun.
Definitely quite possible.
I mean, the way that they lie.
Yeah.
Like it got heated in here when Moonie first came in about this topic because, I don't think you were understanding where we come from. We know they're liars.
Yeah.
Big time.
And now that you say what you say about, you can't just buy it off the rip. I have to examine it and say, they're liars. I know them personally to plant evidence. I know them personally to lie, to falsify statements, to get witnesses to lie. We know exactly how dirty they are. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't really care how you feel about it. The truth of the matter is there is video surveillance of that day in that mall that should show that young man pulling out a gun,
pointing it. It said he pointed it at the
and
officer.
shooting it.
Right.
So so tell me this: if he never pulled out a gun and pointed it at the officer, and he was shot and killed, and then the officer said that he pointed the gun and he warned him, when he didn't, he killed him. If that is not true, you see what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I have no other choice. Look, if we were in a court of law and you presented that, I have to yield to that. Mm-hmm. I have to say, you know what? He has a point.
Yeah.
I'm not an idiot. I got a baby's mama that say I think I'm always right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. She and I always say, no, if somebody busts up on me and they right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm gonna admit you just ain't gonna never see it because you ain't as smart as me. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, we got to keep this in mind too. He was not in police clothes. The officer, he was in civilian clothes.
Yeah.
And how many people if I'm a point, he said he pointed a gun and warned him to put it down. I'm not gonna point no gun at you and let you shoot and kill me. I'm not.
Yeah.
I ain't shoot you at all, and I was pointing a gun at you first. The way you making it seem, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That stuff don't add up. Don't add up.
So an open
That's a
letter.
difference.
Let's pretend you're an MC. I'm sure you're capable of freestyle. We ain't gonna say freestyle now, but freestyle or open letter to Kerr Putney right now.
Man, it would just be as simple as this. Like, we got questions and we want answers, and you can answer them just by releasing them tapes. That'll clear it all. If he really pointed a gun, then I'll be like, man, I hate it happened like that. I hate he lost his life like that.
But I understand.
But he was in the wrong. I understand. But if he did,
I would like to ask Kerr Putney.
I want that officer prosecuted for murder. Because that's murder. If he didn't point no gun at him, that's murder.
Yeah. If he didn't have a gun and everything. See, this is where the details get a little sketchy because it was the reports were that he had a gun and was shooting in the mall. If he wasn't shooting first, who was shooting?
Mm-hmm. There was multiple guns in the mall, remember? They said they seized 6 guns. So, I mean, you got to keep that in mind. How can we just put everything on the dead guy who can't speak for himself? That's the easy cop out.
That's the easy cop, of course. That makes sense.
Possible. I mean, you
mean,
making a hell of a argument.
You gotta rock with him.
Yeah.
You gotta rock with him.
Yeah.
Look, when we did our segment, we were unchallenged in our opinion about the situation.
But now,
to me, all I could see was if my son's at the mall and some dude pull out a gun, busting, he got to go down. Yeah, and that still stands true.
Yeah.
I don't retract any of that. If you did indeed pull out a gun, you deserve what you got. But if it did not go down the way they're saying it went down, and you show us that tape, and that man never levels a gun at you, an unmarked police officer shoots and kills you.
Let's be honest too. You got guys who waiting for their chance
to
gun down a black man. They waiting on the opportunity.
Okay, now
and Kerr Putney is on TV making statements like it's okay to run somebody down and beat the crap out of them, because this video that just surfaced a couple of weeks ago where they take this dude down and they're punching him all in his head, Kerr Putney said they used necessary force.
Yeah.
That to me
is crazy.
It's nuts, because come on, Kerr.
But the cops are totally out of control. But mind you, now I'm gonna err on the other side of this. Okay. You're off-duty cop. I'm off-duty cop. I'm in the mall. Mm-hmm. I hear shots in a crowded mall. Like you said, the climate that we're in, you don't know what's what. You're not sure what's going on. You see somebody who has a gun or you suspect has a gun. As an off-duty cop, I'm probably going to shoot first, ask questions later. Like you said,
but
it's a crowded mall.
But you're a cop. You're a cop. That's not your job to shoot first and ask questions later. Your job is to use your training. You're not trained to just go shoot people. You know what I'm saying? Not. You're trained to protect everyone. You know what I mean?
But if I walk up, you hear shots in the mall. Mm-hmm. You see somebody with a gun. your job as a police officer at that point is to try to take. You got to take that person
not
down.
If he's not
before
pointing a gun at you and you don't
right.
see a
Well,
gun.
that's the other
now, in defense of that though, Moonie, it doesn't matter if he's pointing it at him or not.
Or not. If he has
he's
it.
pointing it, period.
Yeah, he got to go down.
Yeah. But I'm saying when we look at that video, I don't see no gun.
Yeah.
I see him fiddling in his pants. You really can't tell what's going on. And if it's a situation where you're in a mall, fight breaks out, and another party got a gun, of course you want to make it seem like you got a gun, whether you got one or not. But you trying to protect yourself. I just want to see the camera.
But in reality, the climate we're in, black men can't, because they're fearful and they're terrified of a big, strong black Negro shooting them. When in actuality, black people don't really shoot at cops like that, like the way they make it seem.
Look,
they really don't.
Because our behavior when they go to police.
Yeah, we chilling.
Yeah,
because we don't want no trouble. But they are so. We see it time and time again. We've seen it on film where they gunned down unarmed black men, big old black men, little young kids. Take my right. So it really don't matter.
What's the football player's name that they killed?
Right here in Charlotte.
Yeah, right here in Charlotte.
God.
I know you're talking about.
I can't think of his name right now.
He used to play for FAMU.
Yeah.
Yes.
He didn't have a weapon at all. This man was in distress.
A big old black Negro.
Yeah.
Running at the police.
He don't know what to do.
See, I can tell you now, though, if you big and you black,
you better.
Here's our message to you: don't run at the police.
No. Yeah. Sit down.
Do not
comply.
Run at the police.
Comply.
Because they are, like Moonie said, waiting for their chance to shoot one. Period. Now, for Kerr Putney again, they called for Rahm Emanuel's job because he knew stuff because of a video with the Laquan McDonald.
Yes.
He knew about this way longer.
Yeah. And he held it off until after the election, which is a little fishy.
Right. He's a liar.
Oh, he's a whole. Well,
he's
the district attorney now, she's gone.
About that North Lake Mall business,
then the same applies.
Then we're gonna turn up the heat.
Yeah.
If the video comes out a year from now, then whoever knew about this video, your job should end immediately.
Yeah,
and that means you, Kerr Putney, standing on the TV saying what you want them to hear you say, because you know good and damn well that it's not okay to assault somebody who lays down with their arms stretched out. Don't matter that they mad because they had to run so far.
Yeah.
That's what they mad about.
Yeah. Oh, they hate that.
And you're saying that it was necessary force. No, they were mad because they had to chase him, so they let out some of their anger by punching him in his head. I don't think that you should be the police chief saying that that's necessary force. I see the video. I see the video. Yeah. I see him doing nothing that calls for them to punch him in his head. We want to see the video from North Lake Mall.
Release the tape.
Release the tape, man. It's Hump Day Radio.
Kill him, so I can't help but feel it. When I see that video, I don't see no gun. I see a kid turning around to go back in the store and run from a cop who's got it pointed like he's about to shoot. And before you know it, he shot the kid down dead by the boots and left him laying there as a message. Tell me what other race they do. These horrific pictures get put out on display, out in public view. His body lifeless, his mother see this. Tell me if that was you. To me, this is disgusting. And then they advertise it. What the media do? Racist comment and they love it. Them opinions wearing badges too. How many white dead teens you seen? Tell me, look, I done seen so many cases where my young brothers was took. Left Trayvon out on display. Mike Brown left out bleeding for you to look. And then they trash their character and want you to see them only as crooks. It's crazy. Blacks turn coke into crack, but the government the ones who have showed us that dump coke into our communities is fat, but for that we get the book. White kid walks free after rape, protected, and look to another school, they send him away. In the same city, little donkey lay, we wouldn't see the light of day. I've had my troubles and I often wonder what's the bullshit they say. Will I be judged by my mistake? Trouble came, I was in it before I could repent it. Found myself in the midst of the consequences. If your brother took one to the head, would you feel to protect your life? It's levels to criminal, they teach you. Waste no time on no black, shoot if he flinch. The world don't need that. Saw the youngin' in Columbia shot cause he reached for registration. When the officer asked him to get the registration, this the obstacles we facing. So it's pure validation of questions that we raising. They just shot another unarmed man on 321, a week before Donkey. Now tell me, ain't that getting outrageous? Young Moonie made mistakes. In due time I learned and turned pages. Just let them youngest shine on stages. At 18, that boy still a baby. I own a business, an asset to my community. When you murder fluidly, for all us to witness. I can't help but feel them. Sometimes I'll be like, fuck it, gonna kill them. If they reaching to kill you, he trying to peel you, he gon' have to feel you. Kill him or be killed, don't let him put you in a field too. They want us to die, mildew, but this is what we will do if necessary. Malcolm X told us any means necessary. Either address it or it's time to bury. We bout to get these soldiers ready. I ain't gotta feel them. Hell nah, I don't feel them. You ain't have to kill them. You ain't have to kill them. Moonie Mule. Fuck Zimmerman. And any other cop that ever used his badge for an advantage on that. For that cop in Charleston who shot that man in the back.
You're listening to Hump Day Radio.